Om Jnanatimandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual masters kindly opened my eyes with a shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances to his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah. So how far are we? 22?
Yes.
Is
So we
21
are
done?
on. Yeah. Yeah.
20, 22.
Yeah.
21 was a small one, and 22 is small too.
Yeah. 23. We're up to 23.
22 finished. Or 23 also small.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
But
self-explanatory.
that's where we're up to, 23.
They can go with that.
Yeah.
How's the Deepa and Bhaktimala? Do they have a
I
class
haven't
done
seen
last
I haven't
week?
seen Bhakti Mala for some time, but
Really?
Deepa's been joining in, and
How's she
she gave
doing,
me some
Bhaktimala?
nice.
Is she sick or anything? Is she okay?
Oh, I think yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. She's going through some things at the moment, and she stopped working at the Bhakti tree, and
Really? Oh. What's she
yeah,
doing? Like
she's
she's going to temple? She's staying in temple or?
no, I'm not staying in the temple. I don't know what she's up to. She's just trying to
Oh, okay.
get things together. We wish
Yeah,
her all the best, and.
if she's not in the class, not in the bhakti tree, definitely she may be sick,
Hmm.
health issue. Yeah.
Mm. But I heard some good news from Deepa said that Bob went on Harinam for the first time in his life in Beaumont Street.
Oh,
In
Bhavan said
Beaumont
that.
Street. There were some devotees from the
Right.
temple went on Harinam, so he joined
Bhavan
them
said that.
and went
Oh,
on Harinam in Beaumont Street. So that was Deepa had mentioned that. That was his first Harinam.
first.
So
Okay.
good on him.
Okay. That's it. Great.
Hmm. And Gianti's in Auckland. So
Oh,
it's
is she with the
possible
parents?
she may join in. I'm not sure. She's had
Okay.
a busy day today, but she may join at some point. So yeah, we're continuing our reading of Bhagavad Gita from the 10th chapter entitled The Opulence of the Absolute, text number
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
Rudranam Shankarachasmi
Rudranam Shankraschatmi
Vitesho Yaksharakshasam.
Vitesho Yakshatam. How did last word say?
It's
Yaksharak.
Yaksha
Uh,
Rakshasam. Rakshasam.
yak, Yaksha Rakshasam. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Vasunam Pavakaschasmai
Vasunam Pavashak. My
Meru Shikarinam Maham.
Meru Shiksharina Maham.
Okay.
Of all the Rudras, I am the Lord Shiva of the Yakshas and Rakshasas. I am the Lord of the wealth of the vases. I am fire, Agni, and of mountain I am Meru. Meru is the tallest one, but I think the Mount Everest is the tallest.
Now this is probably not visible to the materialistic people of Kali Yuga. Mount Meru, it's sort of like not manifest. Not manifest. Because this is what we know of Earth as Earth. There's other dimensions to this planetary system that we're on that are not visible to us. So yeah, that's all described in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This called Mandala, this Earth planetary system. Mandala, yeah. So in the middle of this planetary system is the Meru or Sumeru. Sometimes it's called Sumeru or Meru. And yeah, it's not visible to us. Even the Pandavas 5,000 years ago, when they retired from all their worldly duties as Kshatriyas, as kings, they went into the Himalayas and they went to a particular mountain that's not accessible now. You know, because they're so pious, they could go to places that this, you know, sinful people of Kali Yuga are not able to access like that. So yeah, there's different dimensions beyond just what our material eyes can perceive. And depending how pious someone is, they have access to, you know, things that others may not have access to. But in terms of how high it is, I'm sure it must be a lot higher than what we know of as the Himalayas. And
Definitely, it's only existing for the pious people anyway. You and me, we can't see.
yeah, I think on the top of Mount Meru, there's the I can't remember if it's either 4 or 8 different cities of different demigods are on top of Mount Sumeru. Indra,
Like
one corner of the top, Indra has his place, and then Vayu, I think one corner, and like that they have different demigods. I'll do some more research from the fifth canto. But yeah, different demigods have some cities on top of that mountain.
yeah, it's okay. 1 second, I'll just quickly want to show you that. Can you see the church
Yeah,
there? Yeah,
yeah,
it's a
yeah, yeah,
little
yeah.
church all around
Yes,
here.
yeah,
Yeah, so, but it's like a French colony. That's why it was like that. But,
yeah.
other than that, it's just a normal rice field,
Rice
mostly
fields.
rice
Looks like a
growing.
lot of
Yeah,
rice.
all
Yeah,
rice field. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's same like a Kailash mountain. Nobody can go there, but it's for Lord Shiva's
yeah,
place. Is it?
yeah,
That's what they call the Kailash. Like people seen
yeah.
from the distance, and I
But
think
then they can see that one, but Mount Meru, they can't even see
you
it.
can't even
Not
see that
only you
now.
can't go up it, not only you
Not even
can't
see
go
it.
up it like Kailash, but
Yeah.
I had people who've gone mad or they died if they tried to go up Kailash. They either went crazy or they died. So many people
Yeah,
died trying to go up there, or they went crazy or
same
something.
as the Vrindavan, the Nidhi one. In the
Yeah.
night time, if you go
Mm.
there, either you're gonna get died or you can get like the deaf and dumb. You can't even tell what
Yeah.
he's seen. So yeah, it's the same like that. One of those places.
It's by
Imagine.
admission only.
Yes,
You have to
only
be
if the
admitted.
Krishna will give you approval. That's the only
Yeah,
person
yeah,
can go.
yeah,
Otherwise, no way.
yeah. But 100%, Mount Meru is heaps taller. Heaps is deeper coming. Heaps taller than the Himalayas, than like that. Plenty taller than that. Mm. Welcome, Deepa Mataji. Okay, so
Yeah.
first thing mentioned is Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Gulshan is sitting on a train, a moving train in Vietnam. I see him move around then.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going north to the south in Vietnam. So catching a train. And then it's a night actually. All 99% people are local there. I'm the only one. Like trying to find my seat there. It was a bit of dilemma. They keep sending me one end to the other end of the train. And I don't know how do we get there because all written in Vietnamese language, the tickets. and finally, I just get in the train. I said, "Bhagavad, man, I know this is the train. It'll get there, and eventually I'll find the seat." Then one person he spoke the broken English. He told me that.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah, exciting.
Oh,
Depending on Krishna, completely helpless.
It's all his mercy. It's just
Yeah.
I was looking that you can be sannyas while living in household life. You don't need to be go to forest and all that. Just the
Yeah.
mindset,
Hmm.
You don't need to be live in the caves and down to Everest and think to be a sannyasi. No, you can live in the everyday life and just leave everything up to the Krishna. Whatever I can get, that's okay.
Hmm.
And that's become a sannyasi.
Hmm.
There's no, but there is some, protocol there in this ISKCON to be. But in the mindful, if you're a sannyasi, if you don't even have a saffron clothes, it's okay. As long as your mind is sannyasi, that's done.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, Deepa Mataji. So we're reading from the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 23. Last
Yep.
week we did 22.
But if Deepa, if you read the Sanskrit, I'll give you $2. It's a very mouthful of the
A bit
Sanskrit
tricky.
in there.
Some tongue
Very
twisters in there.
tricky.
Yaksha Rakshasam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yaksha. Which one's that?
23rd.
The second line. Vitesho Yaksha Rakshasam.
Ah, no.
So yeah, 10th chapter, text 23.
20.
Rudranam Shankaras Tasmai.
Rudra
Yeah,
Nam
so
Yeah, you let her read. Yeah, read the Deepa.
Rudra Nam Shakrash
Shankaras.
Shankaras Tasmi Vitesho Yaksha Rakshasam
Yeah.
Vasuman Pavakashasmi Meru Shikarinam Aham. Good God, that's hard.
That's right.
Well, there you
Wonderful.
go.
Very
You're going to
nice.
have to give her $2 when you get back home.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Worth more than that. It's
She's saying it's worth more than that.
Definitely worth more than that. Each
Okay,
shloka is worth millions.
so another name of Lord Shiva is Shankara. And that's why that there was one great acharya. He appeared in South India. He was known as Shankaracharya. And he was preaching the Mayavad and personal philosophy, but he's actually an incarnation of Lord Shiva. He's an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And Krishna himself deputed his devotee Lord Shiva to teach that atheistic philosophy for a particular purpose, because it's relevant actually to what Gulshan is in a Buddhist country. So at that time, Buddhist philosophy was prevalent in India, but Shankaracharya's purpose, Lord Shiva's purpose, was to move people on from Buddhist philosophy, because in Buddhist philosophy there's no God. So his purpose was to move people on from that atheistic philosophy to a philosophy where there is God, but he has no form. There is God, but no form. And then Ramanujacharya appeared after Shankaracharya, and he brought them onto the higher philosophy that there is God and he has a form, a spiritual form. So we got you coming in again.
I know, because my computer was taking its time, so I joined on my phone, and then
Shall I admit this other one too? Then you're going to be
on my
on
phone,
two
and
devices.
then I'll join.
Okay.
Deepa has got two forms.
Yeah, there you go.
God, Deepa become a
Well,
yogi.
she's double expanded herself into two forms.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then so the Lord is so kind to bring us to higher and higher level of consciousness. So different acharyas, they're, teaching something a little bit better than the previous one. And then Lord Chaitanya has given the ultimate philosophy called Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, that we are simultaneously one with God in quality, but different in quantity, like that. So yeah, Shankara mentioned here that's the name of Lord Shiva. So of all the Rudras, Krishna says, I am Shiva. So Shiva is the best of all the Rudras. So who are the Rudras? So the beginning of the creation, just visualize this. You're at the beginning of the creation. So who's the first created being in the universe? The first created being.
Forgot that.
Brahma.
Brahma, yeah, Brahma, Lord Brahma. In our case, Lord Brahma has 4 heads. In bigger universes, he has more heads. There's one universe he's got 100 heads, another one 1,000 heads, 10,000 heads, 100,000 heads, depending on how big the universe is. You need more brain power to manage things when it gets a bigger universe. So we're in the smallest universe. He only has 4 heads. Like that, we're in a very small universe. It's said that there's a vast number of universes, just like a bag of mustard seeds. So each universe is like a mustard seed. So imagine a whole bag of mustard seeds. So we're in the smallest mustard seed, our universe. So Lord Brahma was first created, and then he created. His purpose was to expand the population of the universe, which gives to create different species, different material bodies, which gives an opportunity for the soul to enter into those material forms and then fulfill their material desires. Because what's the purpose of the material universe is really to fulfill the material desires of this parts and parcels of Krishna, the souls that want to enjoy separately from Krishna. So it's actually said that the first birth the soul takes when we fall down into the material world is we take birth as Lord Brahma, because we have a desire to control our own universe, like that. So, and then if we don't finish up those desires and have further desires, then we end up coming down further in different forms like that. And altogether there's 8,400,000 forms in the universe. So all these different forms originally started off from Lord Brahma, like that. And so he created 4 sons, came from his own body, from his own mind, called the 4 Kumaras, Chatur Kumar. And he deputed them, you can increase the population, which means like grihasta, right? You have to reproduce. And they refused. So when they refused, normally in Vedic culture, the children have to be obedient to the parents, right? So this is the culture right from the beginning. And they refused. Actually, their refusal was legitimate. Normally, you shouldn't refuse what the parents say, but they refused to get involved in family life for a very good reason, that they didn't want to get deviated from Krishna consciousness. They wanted to just focus on Krishna consciousness and not get distracted or deviated from that. So on that basis, they refused the father's instruction. So it wasn't actually bad what they did, but from Brahma's point of view, it was pretty bad because they're his children and they refused to do what he said. So he got angry. So when he got angry, from in between his eyebrows, the Rudras appeared. The Rudras appeared, Lord Shiva and the Rudras. So from there, I have to do a bit of research, but I think there's about 10 I think there's about 10 or 11 Rudras. And as mentioned here, of all the Rudras, Shiva is representative of Krishna, so he's the best. So the Rudras, one of their functions is at the time when the universe is to be destroyed, annihilated, which is at the end of the lifespan of Lord Brahma. When Lord Brahma appears, the universe is created. That's the creation. And then when he dies, after 100 years of his life, when he dies, the universe is destroyed. So the length of the universe is measured by the lifespan of Lord Brahma. And that 100 years of Lord Brahma's years and our years and human years is about 311 trillion years, plus so many billion, million, like that. 311 trillion of our human years, Earth years. So at the end of Lord Brahma's life, then they set about destroying. So they do this big dancing, and fire emanates from them and everything like that. And they just go on a rampage. Like sometimes kids, right, in the house go on a rampage and just knock over tables and chairs and throw things around and make a big mess. So just like that, they go on a big rampage and then the universe is destroyed. And also at that time, a fire comes up from the many-hooded serpent that lies on the Garbhodak ocean, Anantasesha, and that Vishnu is lying on that Anantasesha. He's an expansion of Balaram. So fire comes from his many mouths at that time, and that fire also burns up the universe. So there's a few different factors there that destroy the universe, but that's one of their responsibilities, to destroy things in the universe. So they're involved with material affairs. They're involved with the tamagun, the mode of ignorance. Brahma is in charge of the mode of passion. He to create something requires some passion. Shiva and the Rudras are involved with destroying. That's the mode of ignorance. So getting angry, that anger is in the mode of ignorance. And Vishnu is in charge of maintenance. So you've got three things going on in the world: creation, maintenance, and destruction. So they're called the guna avatars. The guna avatars. There's different kinds of avatars. So one category is called guna avatars. So guna means quality. So you've got these three modes or qualities: the passion, goodness, and ignorance. So, but look, the Shiva mentioned here, out of all the Rudras, Shiva is a pure devotee of the Lord, and he's definitely not ignorant. It would be an offense to call Shiva ignorant, but he's in charge of that mode. But he's not involved with a lot of the material activities, like I said, destroying things. He's just meditating on his Istadev, who is Sankarshan. So if you look at some pictures of Lord Shiva, you'll see some Rudraksha japa beads in his hand. So he's also chanting mantras, meditating on his Lord Sankarshan. And he's always in trance, always in meditation, like that. He doesn't care about any materialistic things. That's why, even though Shiva and his wife Durga, they're in control of the material world. And, although Durga, she can manifest unlimited wealth and everything like that. And often Lord Shiva's devotees and Durga's devotees are often very wealthy, but they themselves don't even have a house. Someone's selling peanuts. Or fruit.
It's actually a bread.
Bread.
it has got a something in there. They just cut in between and they put something in there. That's why I didn't purchase. If it's just a bread, I'll purchase it. But he came in the morning as well. So he got something in there. I don't know what did he put it in there. So for now.
And you can't ask him what it is because he can't explain.
Even if I ask, I can't get the answer anyway. So
Yeah, I know.
No point.
Yeah.
You have to speed learn Vietnamese, some basic.
I learned that. Hello and thank you.
You can even do it on the phone these days. You can get the phone to translate from one language to another.
I've got an app in there, but it's okay. I'm fine. Because I'm in the class. If I put on the app,
not necessarily in class. Yeah,
I'm in the class.
I know. Yeah. So it's even though they're the source of all material opulence, but they themselves don't even have a house to live. You know, Lord Shiva, he just lives under a banyan tree, and he doesn't even have clothes. You know, he just covers himself with ashes, and he has like snakes around his arms and hanging around his, and he has a garland of skulls around his neck like that. So, and then that's because he's completely absorbed in the transcendental life, and he doesn't want to be disturbed. He doesn't want to be disturbed by materialistic people who tend to come to the demigods and always asking for Ashirvad blessings. Can you give me some wealth, Lord Shiva? Can you give me this? Get me a good wife, get me a good husband, help me pass my exams, and
get me a good job.
Get
me a good job.
Give me a good job. So he appears in such a way that he doesn't really come across as very approachable. He's not very approachable, which is what he wants, because he doesn't want to be bothered by all these nonsense material worshippers like that. And he doesn't care about the body. He doesn't care about anything in the material world. His heart and soul is devoted to the Lord. So that's why of all the Rudras, he's the representative Krishna. Krishna says, I am Lord Shiva of all the Rudras, because he's not involved with material affairs like destruction. He's just always worshipping the Lord. Actually, in the 12th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse saying, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu. So that's another name of Lord Shiva, is Shambhu. And of Vaishnava means devotees of Vishnu. So of all the devotees of Vishnu, that verse is saying that the best is Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the best of devotees of Vishnu, like that.
I just looked it up. Uncle Google is very good, by the way. 11 Rudras.
11,
apparently.
right, yeah.
Ekadasha, yeah, it's what they say.
Yeah. 11, yeah. I knew it was either 10 or 11, but 11. That's good. Thank you for the confirmation. But yeah, so the Rudras are involved with material affairs, but Lord Shiva isn't. He's completely transcendental. Completely transcendental, like that. And then it mentions of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. So these are different species, you could say, mentioned. Yakshas or a race. The Yaksha is one race, and the Rakshasas are another race. Yakshas, they are like quite ghostly subtle beings. They are more powerful than the earthly human beings. They have more powers, and they're a lot more subtle. They don't have so much of a gross physical body, so they can move around much more easily. Actually, in the planetary system, even like in the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurva Swa, Tat Savitur Vanyam, like that it goes. So we're on the Bhuloka. We're on the Bhuloka. Then above Bhuloka is Bhuva. So that's where the Yakshas live, on Bhuva. And then Swa means Swarga, means like the heavenly planets, and that's where Indra and so forth, the demigods are. So in between the earthly planetary system, where we are, and the heavenly system, then you've got the Bhuva Loka, where a lot of these ghostly beings are, the Yakshas. And they tend to hoard a lot of wealth. They tend to be very good at accumulating wealth and protecting the wealth. So if you hear any mythological stories about someone sitting on a pot of gold or something like that, that was probably a yaksha like that. So, and in the heavenly planets, the treasurer of the demigods, his name is Kuvera. And Kuvera is the lord of the yakshas. So he is, whether or not he's regarded himself as a yaksha, I haven't remember hearing that, but he's definitely the controller or the master of the yakshas, who are, like I say, these ghostly kind of beings that, they always tend to be guarding some wealth. So, and Kuvera is guarding the wealth of the demigods. So he's super wealthy. So yeah, of all the, what's that?
Heavenly wealth.
Heavenly wealth, yeah. The ultimate wealth is love, to have love for God. But that's completely spiritual. But materially speaking, yeah, he's very wealthy, materially speaking. He's also, because he's a demigod, he's also a devotee of Vishnu. And that's why he's in such a good material position, because he is also, a devotee of the Lord, although he has material desires. And we talked about that last week, that that's why the soul is in the form of a demigod, because although they're a devotee, but they have material desires. So devotees with material desires, they tend to become demigods like that. But it's still better to be a devotee with material desires than a non-devotee, and that's not progressive at all, being a non-devotee. But they're a devotee, but they have material desires. But if they keep doing their service to the Lord, then slowly they can come out of that, material desires. And Krishna's pleased by their service. Krishna's pleased by their service, so they get some mercy for that. So that's the yakshas. And rakshasas, I mean, and in yakshas also, they are regarded as not being very good. I'm just going to turn the light on. This yakshas and also rakshasas are regarded as not being very good beings. They're, in the mode of ignorance, and they can sometimes create trouble. And one story to deal with the yakshas comes up in the Bhagavatam, where one yaksha killed Dhruva Maharaj's brother. He killed his brother. And Dhruva Maharaj became very angry and wanted to get some revenge. So he went to the city of the Yakshas, which, like I said, is above the earth in Bhuvaloka. And he started to kill them all. And he's such a powerful Kshatriya. He's also, by this point, Dhruva Maharaj, when he was 5 years old, he went to the forest searching for Vishnu. And eventually he got darshan of Vishnu, and at that point, before that he had lots of material desires. He wanted a big kingdom. But at that point, when he got darshan of the Lord Narayan, he forgot about all of his material desires because he got the higher taste, right? He got the higher taste, which is you have a relationship with Krishna, with God, then you don't care about anything else. So it's much more enjoyable in that relationship with the Lord. So at that point, he became free from his material desires, but still he remained in the material world, but he'd become a pure devotee. But then, and then later on, when he grew up, and then, like I said, a yaksha killed his brother, and then he set about to kill all the yakshas. And Kuvera came to him and pleaded with him, please, can you stop killing them? Because they're, you know, he's like the father of all the yakshas. He's responsible for them. So all of his followers were getting killed. So Kuvera pleaded on their behalf, can you please, I can understand that you're upset, your brother was killed by one of them, but please, you know, don't kill all of them. And he accepted that. So he immediately stopped fighting and gave up his anger. And Kuvera was very pleased with Dhruva Maharaj and gave him many ashirvad, many blessings. Also, not that he needed the blessings, but he was very pleased and gave him many blessings and so forth like that. And yeah, so that's one pastime. So they tend to be quite ignorant beings. And also another category called Rakshasas. So Rakshasa, generally what they would be doing is they are man-eaters. They are man-eaters. So Ravana, for example, Ravana fits into the Rakshasa category. He was Ravana and those other, his followers on Lanka, they, in the Ramayana, they were Rakshasas like that. Also, you know, very powerful. I think from reading in the Ramayana, I vaguely remember that one Rakshasa is equal in strength to 10 humans. So 10 humans is the strength.
Are they devotee of Lord Shiva?
In Ravana's case, he was. Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva. Yeah. Hiranyakashipu, he was a devotee of Lord Brahma, but Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva, like that. And Hiranyakashipu was also regarded as a Rakshasa. And this is in terms of their behavior. In terms of their behavior. Actually, not in terms of their birth. Like, who was Hiranyakashipu's parents? Actually, they were, his father was a great sage, Kashyapa, and the mother's name was Diti. So Kashyapa and Diti, the parents of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So actually, he's a great Brahmin sage, Kashyapa, but the son is a Rakshasa. So it's not in terms of your birth, but in terms of your behavior and your qualities, that what you became designated as some particular kind of person according to your behavior like that. So typically the Rakshasas, they are man-eaters. They eat humans like Ravana and like that. They would eat human beings. Actually, I don't know if you're aware, but there are some humans on the planet today that that they eat other humans. You know, some eat fetuses, human fetuses. Some eat actually adult humans. You know, they kill them and eat them like that. Some gross humans, they like have festivals and they, you know, eat. Actually, I heard Prabhupada say today that in Africa, there was tribes in Africa, they would have a festival centered around killing the grandfather. They would kill the grandfather and then eat the grandfather. And that's like a festival, a party like that. So these are
My
different.
God, where's that? Good
In
God.
Africa. Yeah, they actually,
But
Prabhupada mentioned it 50 years ago. I heard him today say it in a lecture.
But the grandfather meat will be very chewy.
Yeah, well,
Oh
maybe they
my
like chewy things.
God.
It's maybe
No
they like chewy
way.
things, but some people might see like that, you know, the old people. And Prabhupada was saying like that, that people don't respect the old people very much. Because, you know, see, you're like, you're useless, you're not doing anything, you're not contributing, you're pretty useless, might as well just eat you. You know, some people might think like that. And Prabhupada said, interestingly, after saying about that, he said that he said that's why I left family life. He said there wasn't any respect anymore. There wasn't proper dealings anymore. So he said I left the family life, not being treated properly anymore. You know, when becoming old. So sometimes that happens. You know, not being dealt with properly. But yeah, sometimes you know, actually famous in Fiji. There used to be big Rakshasas there. One Rakshasa, I can't remember his name, Fijian guy. He ate 999 Christian missionaries.
What? How? Oh
Because the
God.
Christians, you know, Christians are sending their missionaries. Like Gulshan showed me a picture of one church just out the window a little while ago. So the missionaries go to Vietnam, they go everywhere, right? But the ones that landed in Fiji weren't very lucky because they had like Rakshasas there and they were eating these Christians like anything. And he stopped with one because he couldn't figure out why he couldn't eat. He couldn't eat this one. And what he figured out was the missionary had leather boots on and he didn't know what is a boot. So he was trying to eat it, but he couldn't eat it because it's obviously leather. You can't eat it. So eventually, I can't remember what happened to him, but he stopped with that one because he couldn't eat it like that. So, but yeah, this is the Rakshasa type. But Prabhupada would also, he took it a step further, saying that not just human eating humans, but any meat eater eating meat, then often the meat eaters were also called Rakshasas. I mean, technically speaking, Rakshasa would mean eating human flesh, but sometimes that designation Rakshasa would be given to even someone just eating animals like that. And there's another derogatory term for someone not very civilized, and that's called Yavana. Here he comes. What happened, Gulshan?
Yeah, it's a bad internet connection because of the countryside.
You
But
probably
it's
went through a
okay.
tunnel or something,
Yeah, look
or went
like yeah, it was
under a mountain or
it,
something.
yeah, but it's okay now.
So I was just saying sometimes the term Rakshasa would be extended from someone that eats humans to just someone that eats meat. So sometimes the meat eaters are also called Rakshasas. And and um and there's another derogatory term in Vedic culture which is called a Yavana. So if someone calls you a Yavana, that's not a very nice term. Yavana means unclean, basically, someone that doesn't follow Vedic culture. So anyone not following Vedic culture and very unclean in their habits and everything, they would be termed as a Yavana, like that. So, I mean, that's my background. My background is actually I was brought up a Yavana and a Rakshasa, like that. So Prabhupada and his followers have delivered us from that kind of behavior. And because definitely the behavior I was accustomed to from my family was this Yavana Rakshasa, like that. Very unclean. It's strange, I used to have one shower a day, but that would be just before I went to bed. Not very clean, It's like you're getting into a dirty bed and you just have a shower before you get in the dirty bed. That's pretty stupid. But the Sanyavanas, they don't understand any of these proper cleanliness principles like that, and you know, just eating anything and like that. So everything is very unclean, very dirty. The body and the mind is very unclean, you know, just thoughts of so much lust and greed and anger and envy and pride. So that's also unclean. So unclean doesn't just mean externally, it does mean that, physical, but also means your mind is unclean also. So when it talks about a brahmana, the term for a brahmana is called suchi. Suchi means clean. That means externally clean, like a real Paka Brahmana would have a bath 3 times a day. In the morning, after getting up, and then before lunch, and then before dinner, like that, before bed, 3 times a day. Just a second, just a second. Hello? Yeah, I'm talking with the, soul searching. Yep, all good. So yeah, they would have bath 3 times a day, but also it means internally clean, and that's like through their chanting mantras, doing puja and everything, yagya, then that's cleaning the mind. So that's the first thing mentioned by Lord Chaitanya, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Chaito Darpana Marjanam. So Chaita means mind, and Darpana means mirror, and Marjana means cleaning. So the mind is compared to a mirror. What happens if you don't clean a mirror?
It gets dull. You can't see properly.
Yeah, it gets covered with dust, and then when it's covered with dust, you can't see yourself. So that's what happens, So when the mind is unclean by what is the dust, means all the material desires, when it's covered by all these material desires, then we can't see ourself anymore, our spiritual reality, or that we're an eternal soul and we have a relationship with the Supreme Soul, with God. So that's being able to see ourself and God and our relationship with God, that being able to see that is lost when the mind is unclean. So, through the practices and behavior of a Brahmana is meant to clean the mind like that, suchi, like that. But these Yavanas, Rakshasas, and like that, Yakshas, they're very unclean. They don't follow Vedic principles and like that. They eat and have no discrimination what they're eating and so forth like that. But of all this group, then Kuvera, he's the best. Kuvera is the best. And like I said, not necessarily Kuvera has the low behavior of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, but he's in charge of them. So he's
It's
the
his
best.
job. It's
That's
his
a job,
job.
Yeah, like Lord Shiva's in charge of the ghosts and ignorant people, but he's not an ignorant ghost like that, but he's in charge of them like that. Mm. Mm. And then of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. Mm. We really appreciate the value of fire here because we don't have a heat pump in the house. That's the only way we keep warm in the winter. And Deepa, you saw that when you came here. No heat pump and anything like that. No gas heater or anything. We just had the wood fire. So,
But
Agni
it's
is
so nice, so
nice
snug
and
and
cozy.
warm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So actually, I was reading in the Krishna book in the 10th canto, the summary there, in the Krishna book. It was mentioned a pastime of Krishna in Dwarka when he had married 16,108 queens, and he had 16,108 palaces, and he was doing different things in the different palaces, expanding himself and the different forms. And one thing mentioned that when he got up and they talked about what he did when Krishna got up in the morning. And he had been obviously embraced by his wives, very tightly, and they obviously didn't want to let him go. But when he heard the rooster crowing in the morning, cock-a-doodle-doo. That's the universal alarm clock when the rooster goes off. We recently got a rooster here, so that we can have our own alarm clock, own natural alarm clock, natural, don't need batteries. And that's nature's arrangement, Krishna's arrangement, that at that time, about 1.5 hours before dawn, that the rooster starts crowing, which is the Brahma Muhurta, which is a spiritual time when a transcendentalist should be getting up. So the time when he should be getting up is when the rooster crows. But I must say, some Kali Yuga roosters are a bit lazy and they start crowing a bit later than they're getting a bit lazy now. But so it's mentioned when he had the rooster crowing, get out of bed, and then it's mentioned he would sprinkle water on his hands and his face and his feet, and then he would meditate. And then one thing it mentions, he would offer respect to fire. One thing's mentioned in the morning.
Agni.
He would offer respect to Agni, like that, because so essential to our life, like the sun, right? Which is like also another Agni. It's like that. So the fire in the sky and the fire down here. I mean, there's a sense we couldn't live without Agni. We couldn't live without the sun, without the moon. Even like the moonlight makes the plants grow. If it wasn't for the moonlight, the plants wouldn't grow like that. So all these things are essential, and they're all different, like we've been hearing about, the energies of God. The sun is an energy of God, the moon is an energy, the fire is an energy of God, Lord Shiva is an energy of God, like that, Kuvera is an energy of God, like that. And these are all essential to our being able to exist, being able to live here. And so by every time we see fire, we can remember this is Krishna. That's what he's saying here. He says, I am Agni, like that. So we can remember Krishna. And like I said, difficult for us in the beginning to remember, Krishna is God. He's a blue boy playing a flute and he has a spiritual form. We can't see that, but we can every day see fire, see the sun, the moon, all these kind of things. And that way we can remember Krishna like that.
The fact that you get up in the morning and you can move, it's already remembrance of Krishna. Of that speck of his essence which is in us. Yeah.
So Krishna himself is teaching by example, by himself. What does God need to get up early in the morning to meditate? No, but he's doing that to set an example for us. And that's called acharya. One who teaches by example is called an acharya. And that's the most powerful way to teach. Like if I'm smoking a cigarette and I'm telling you not to smoke, are you going to follow that? No. The first thing I have to do to be able to instruct someone to stop smoking is I have to stop smoking like that. And
my father had this saying. He would say, do as I say, don't do as I do.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah. See, people rebel with that, if you just say something but do something different, they're going to rebel. They're going to rebel. No one, and especially in Kali Yuga, people don't like being told what to do. We're very rebellious in the material world in general, but especially in Kali Yuga, we're super rebels. And we don't like being told by an authority. We don't like an authority figure, bossing us around. But we do get inspired by, attracted by someone doing something very ideal. If someone has very ideal, nice, perfect behavior, we get attracted to that. Someone doing, something very nice, They acted very compassionately, very kindly to our people or whatever, that we get inspired by that. Well, they did something like that. I can also do like that. So we think, oh, they're doing it. I also can do like that. So, and this is called Acharya, teaching by example, and Prabhupada was a perfect example of that too. You know, he told the disciples to chant 16 rounds a day. He was also chanting 16 rounds. Does Prabhupada need to chant 16 rounds a day to remember Krishna? No, he's naturally remembering Krishna, but he chanted on beads more than 16 rounds a day. If you look at any pictures of Prabhupada, you'll guarantee you'll find a bead bag in
With
Prabhupada's
beads.
hand. 99% of the pictures will have a bead bag in his hand. You know, even when he's talking with people and whatever, walking on the beach and morning walk, exercising, but he's got a bead bag in his hand. He's chanting. So he's really teaching by example like that.
Mm-hmm.
He told his disciples to get up at, you know, early in the morning, like I said, Brahma Muhurta, and go to the Mongol Arati and everything like that. And don't sleep more than 6 hours a day. One time a reporter criticized Prabhupada that I've heard you make your disciples can only sleep 6 hours a day. Just like he's, you know, insinuating that the guru is exploiting the followers, exploiting them. And then one disciple told the reporter, yeah, but Prabhupada, he only sleeps 3.5 hours a day. You know, so he's doing at least as much as what he's asking someone else to do.
And it's
He's
not
never
like he was, it wasn't like he was not allowing them to sleep. He told them that it's not good. And then, isn't it? I mean, that's what I'm
you
understanding.
can't force. Like Prabhupada said,
Yeah.
I am an old man. What can I can't force you to do anything like that. But they happily followed whatever he said because he walked the talk. He walked the talk. He was just a perfect, you know, like many say, he was like a Vaikuntha man. They called him a Vaikuntha man. He's like straight from the spiritual world, just so inspiring. So inspiring. In every way, you know, he was unlimitedly compassionate and kind and forgiving and patient and you name it. There's 26 qualities mentioned of a pure devotee, and Prabhupada, like, he manifested all of them. Kripalu means merciful. Akritadroha means he doesn't see anyone as his enemy. Kritadroha. Sama means equal to everyone. They don't have like, this is my friends, this is my enemies. They treat everyone equally. Prabhupada did. Not partial. Nidosa means faultless. You can't find any fault in him. You can't find any fault. Vadanya means very magnanimous. Very magnanimous. Murdu means mild. Very mild behavior. Very gentle and mild. Suchi, like I said, you know, very clean. Akinchan means they don't have any possessions. They don't have any possessions. Although Prabhupada was in charge of the very wealthy ISKCON society, but he didn't have any possessions. You know, he traveled around in a suitcase, you know, and even that, you know, he would see one of his disciples didn't have a sweater. So he would give one of his sweaters to him. He would like, someone would give him a beautiful ring, but he wasn't attached. He would someone else would give him a ring. He would pull off a ring that he'd been given by somebody
And
else
give it back
and give that to them. Someone would give him a watch.
Barter.
And he would take off his watch and give it to them and take on the new watch. So like that, he wasn't attached to anything, any possessions, didn't have any material possessions. Savopakara Shanta means they're always working for the welfare of others. And that was so evident in Prabhupada. Everything Prabhupada did was for the benefit of others. Shanta means peaceful, always peaceful.
Because he saw everybody as a walking temple of God.
Yeah.
Because we all have Krishna Paramatma in us. That we are all walking temples of God. Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah.
So yeah, this is the best way to teach, by example. So Krishna was doing that, you know, getting up early in the morning and offering respect to the fire and so forth like that to show us how we should live. So, you know, we try to follow in the footsteps of these great personalities, Krishna and Prabhupada, like that. Try to follow in their example. And of mountains, I am Meru. So Gulshan had mentioned about that before. Is Meru higher than the Himalayas? Yes, it is. So of mountains, I am Meru. So there's many mountains, obviously, in the Himalayas and so forth. In New Zealand, we have Australia, we have. Actually, there's a quite impressive mountain close to the Hare Krishna farm in Moolumba near New Govardhan. There's an impressive mountain, Mount Warning. It's called Mount Warning. If you go
Warning.
to that, Warning. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
called Warning. I mean Warning,
To
I
warn.
suppose.
To warn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warning, Mount Warning. It's quite an impressive looking mountain. And that farm, the Hare Krishna farm, is at the base of that mountain. But you have all the mountains, the Mount Meru is the best. So it's a representative of Krishna. And on this planetary system, Mount Meru is the middle of it, the middle of this planetary system. And at the base of it, of Mount Meru, is in different directions, different varshas. They're called varshas.
What
So
is that?
actually, varsha is like, you know, like what we perceive of as Earth is Bharata Varsha. Bharata Varsha, right? Bharata Varsha. Have you heard that before? Bharata Varsha? You would have heard of Bharat, because India is often regarded as called Bharat. But it's often you'll see the term Bharata Varsha. Huh? You have heard, yeah. Yeah, Bharat Varsha.
Yes.
So what we know of as Earth is Bharat Varsha, and that's in one direction coming from this Sumeru. But these other ones, like there'll be different Varshas. I can't remember all their names. One's called Kim Purusha Varsha. Kim Purusha Varsha. That is actually where Hanuman and the monkeys live there at that Kim Purusha Varsha, like that. And they're in another direction from that central Meru, that Meru Mountain, Sumeru, like that. So I think there's eight. There's about eight. You've got north of Meru, south of Meru, west and east of Meru, and then you've got northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So you've got these different varshas like that, and they all have their different mountains and things like this. Like in the Bharata Varsha, we have the Himalayas, very extraordinary. But they all have different mountains in that. But the tallest of all the mountains, that's the Meru. And that what we mentioned before to Gulshan is that the demigods, they have their cities on the top of Mount Meru, on the top of Mount Meru.
But we
I think
talk of Himalaya as the tallest on. How does Meru come in?
Yeah, it's beyond, like I said to Gulshan, because you need to have the punya or the piety to be able to go to these other areas. We're locked out of these other areas, these other varshas, we can't go. But as I mentioned to Gulshan before, the Pandavas, when they retired 5,000 years ago, they entered into a different varsha that we can't go to, we can't access like that. It's like a different dimension. We can't see that dimension. We can't go to that dimension like that, but it's there. And it's mentioned in the 5th canto Bhagavatam how the cosmos is how it's all set up and everything like that. And it's a bit inconceivable for our minds how it all
You can
works.
say, I'm going to the big mountains. That's why you just lost. You say mountain, and then I'm on the mountain.
Yeah.
The big mountains up there. That's
Yeah.
why I lost the connection there.
Yeah.
You mentioned mountain, I'm on the mountain.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, the greatest of all mountains is this Mount Sumeru, and we don't have access to that. And beings that are very pious, they can travel, between these different places. Like Narada Muni, we know. I mean, he can even go outside the universe, what to speak of different planets or different varshas like that. And actually, it's mentioned at the base of Mount Meru is 4 smaller mountains in different directions, northeast, southwest. One of them has, I'm not going to have exactly all the details because it's been a while since I read it, but one of them has a gigantic, Gulshan will get excited about this, a gigantic mango tree on top of it. Oh, he's just stepped out. It has a gigantic mango tree. And that mango tree, from memory, is 10,000 yojanas high. So 1 yojan is 8 miles. So it's 10, what did I say? 10,000. And then, so that's 80,000 miles high, that mango tree. So that's way beyond our experience, but we accept that from the Vedic descriptions. There was another one, has a tree called jambu, on top of the mountain, and that's why one area is called Jambu Dweepa. Jambu Dweep. So that's because it has this mountain with this big jambu tree, and that name of that whole island is called Jambu Dweep because of that. So yeah, there's very extraordinary places in this universe, what to speak of in the spiritual world. But even in the material world, there's places that we have no experience of, but that are so many varieties there, even in the material world. And the material world is only 1/4 of Krishna's whole creation. 3/4 is the spiritual world. And even though there's fantastic places in the material world, like I said, Mount Meru and all these gigantic trees and everything like that, and when those mangoes fall down, it creates a river of mango juice. There's a river of mango juice comes down from this Jambudvipa. And when this mango juice contacts the bank of the river, it creates gold. It creates gold. Like
Where
that
did
gold is
Gulshan
created.
go?
Oh, he's losing reception. He's losing. He's probably gone through another mountain, through another mountain range. And then it creates gold and all these things. So, I mean, it's just incredible what Krishna has created. And like I said, he did this to fulfill the desires of the living entities that want to enjoy different kinds of sense gratification. And ultimately, the pure devotee of the Lord is not interested in any kind of material sense gratification. The pure devotee just wants to please Krishna. And why would we give up all kinds of sense gratification just to please Krishna? Because actually that bhakti of serving Krishna gives the ultimate happiness for the soul, the ultimate. That's the real sense gratification, is the having that loving relationship of service with Krishna. I was just reading in a beautiful book called the Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Goswami, one of Lord Chaitanya's followers, of when the soul reunited with Krishna in the spiritual world. And it was such an ecstatic meeting. And not only tears were coming out of the eyes of the devotee reuniting with Krishna, but the tears were flowing out of Krishna's eyes. He was so happy to be reunited with his long-lost soul that had gone to the material world. So when the soul came back to the spiritual world, Krishna was so happy to be reunited. And it said Krishna's tears turned the sand under his body. He turned into mud. That ground became muddy from Krishna's tears, that he felt so happy to be reunited with that soul like that. So yeah, it's the ultimate pleasure, and that's unlimitedly better than even floating in a river of mango juice. It's just so much.
But actually,
so much better.
I have a question there about the thing is, because Krishna, God, Krishna, it's all pervading, it's everywhere and all, and our souls are all a little speck of his essence, which is our Atma. And so the thing is, I know it's all individual at that point, but when moksha, it means our soul is liberated. What is it? Liberation. It means it goes back to Godhead, but no longer I think that it means it. For instance, like all the streams and the rivers and whatever that goes and flows into the ocean, and then there is no separation anymore. It becomes the ocean. It's the ocean.
No, even that's what the Mayavadis use examples like that. But even in that example, that molecule of water still remains a molecule of water. That molecule of water in the river that went into the ocean, even in the ocean, it still remains the same molecule of water. It hasn't become the whole ocean. No one is going to think
but
that
it becomes part of that ocean. It's not, you cannot separate it and say this is the river and this is the ocean. It just becomes, it is part of the whole ocean.
But that drop of water is still a drop of water. Whether it's in the river or in the sea, it's still a drop of water.
But it is part of the ocean. We can't differentiate it anymore.
Yeah, but you can't say it's the whole ocean either.
No, it's not the whole vast ocean. The whole ocean is made up of all this material, molecules.
That's why I said Lord Chaitanya's philosophy is the best, because his philosophy is that inconceivably and simultaneously we are one with God in quality, but we are different from God in quantity at the same time.
As the individual
so the quality is the same, but the quantity is different.
In the material world, our souls are, yes, is separate. We are, but for when moksha, when you go back to Godhead, there is no longer what does it mean?
I'll tell you the definition of moksha, which is from Krishna himself in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Sanskrit is muktir. You can look it up on the internet. second canto, 10th
Oh,
chapter.
in the Srimad, okay.
Yeah. Second canto, 10th chapter, text 6. I think that's what it is. And how it goes is muktir, so that's what you said, mukti, liberation. The Sanskrit word for liberation is mukti or moksha. Moksha or mukti. In this case, it's mukti. Muktir hit vanyata rupam. So what does that mean? Mukti means hit vanyata rupam. So rupam is form. Anyata means other. And hitva means giving up. So when you're giving up all other forms, what are these other forms? That's, like I said, 8,400,000 forms. This is the material world. Is samsara. You're going from one form to another form. You're in a bird form, and you went to a fish form, and then an animal form, and then, you know, a demigod form, a rakshasa form, yaksha form, human form, so many forms. So when you give up all these other forms, and then what? When you know not going through any of these other forms anymore, then what? Swarupena vyavastati. Vyavastati means then you're permanently situated in your, again, rupa, but swarupa. Swa means original. So you've given up all these other forms, temporary, going from one to another, to another, to another, to another, and you're situated permanently in your original form again. Before we came to the material world, we were in our original form. Now we've come to the material world. Our original form is here now, but it's covered by these other forms, whether it's a New Zealand form, human form, or a Malaysian form, or man's form, woman's form, whatever, animal, human form. The Swarupa is still there. That original form is still there. I heard Prabhupada say it
But when
today.
we say a speck of the Paramatma is, which is the life force, and I mean,
No, Paramatma that's the supreme person in the heart. It's not just a force. So our Swarupa, our form, is also in the heart, and God's form is also in the heart. That's Paramatma.
and our soul is is a speck of the essence of Krishna or God, or you know, however we want to
But that
term it.
speck, as you say, has a form,
Yeah,
as a person. We're an eternal person.
but
A
that
person,
speck which
when you
was
say a
part of
person,
him,
what is a person?
yeah,
See, what person means, as soon as you say person, you mean person has a name. Person has a form.
yes,
Person has qualities. And person has
yeah,
activities. So that's what we are, the soul. The soul is a person. The person has a name and a form and qualities. And if you just say we're energy, a speck, then not necessarily you have a name and all that. But we're more than just a speck. We're more than just the energy.
no, but yeah,
We're an eternal person. So
but
we
that
have,
is we are only a person because of the soul that we have, which is a speck of Krishna.
yeah, Krishna is the
As
original
I
person. He's the
understand, yeah.
supreme
So
person.
which
Yeah,
is a speck of his
yeah,
essence,
yeah.
which is then our soul, and then it's that soul when it returns back, moksha.
Hmm.
It is it's part of him. That's, I mean, yeah, that's just my understanding. I mean, when I think of it, and I just, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't understand these things just with your thinking. You have to hear it from an authority.
Yes.
So the authority is saying that we are eternally an individual. We're eternally an individual. Even we can read it.
But if we still are separate from God, then there is, I don't know, then, I mean, to me, then what is moksha? It doesn't mean.
No, I just told you. It's when when the soul doesn't have to reincarnate from one form to another
Yeah,
form to another form. We are back in just our original form, uncovered by all these material forms. Now the spiritual form is still there, but it's covered. So moksha means no more covering. You're just in your original pure spiritual form,
but we
which has
don't
got
have,
completely free.
yeah, yeah.
You're free from all this material coverings. And it's the material coverings which cause the suffering. Because the material covering goes through what? Birth, old age, disease,
Yeah,
death,
that's in the
and then again. So that's
material
all,
aspect, but in the
yeah.
spiritual, is we are specks of this, the essence of God, and
Yeah,
that
but all
is
this, you're
then
using the
our
word speck
spiritual
in essence.
aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that is the this
Yeah,
our
but
spiritual aspect. Otherwise, there is nothing. We can't be just material with no soul, then we are just a thing.
no, all I'm saying
Yeah,
is when you talk about spiritual, that spiritual is a person, but a spiritual person. And that's what we can't what we can't conceive of with our material mind, because we have never seen a spiritual person.
but we don't have our own spirit. The spirit that we have is the essence, is that little spark which is
Yeah, but
Krishna.
deeper,
Yeah,
all these terms you're using are
yeah.
impersonal. But the basis of our philosophy is that we're personal. But you two using
No, but
spec, spark,
we
essence,
are
that you're just
personal
talking
in
about
our
energies.
material. Yeah, but we don't
Even this
have a
chapter,
mm,
even this
we,
chapter is talking about energies in the material world of Krishna. But all these energies, like the sun, the moon, the fire, Shiva, everything, they all come from Krishna, who is a person.
yeah, but that's the thing. He is, because at the end of it, if we go back, if we boil it all down, it's
Hmm.
only him. There is nothing else. It's him, and that's it.
Yes, but he has expanded himself into all these varieties. Why?
Yeah,
Because it's
for the
boring if there's no variety.
mm,
So why do we exist? Because he has expanded himself into you and me and everyone else to enjoy relationships with. And this is
yeah,
where a very important term comes in called
mm,
rasa. Rasa is the the taste that
mm,
comes from a relationship, generates
mm.
a very
No,
special
yeah.
taste. And that's called rasa, bhakti rasa.
Yeah, that
So,
is
and you,
while the soul is all in, we are all separate, we are all individual, that individual specks of the souls, and then we have this relationship with, it's like, we have, if there's 20 children, they are
mm,
all, but they are all individual, but they are all associating with me as the source of them or
yeah,
the
yes,
parents
yes.
as the source
Yep,
of them.
yep, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean in that case it is separate, it is material, a
Mm,
material thing. I'm not giving them the soul. The
mm,
soul is still Krishna's, the spec, that is the spirit.
mm,
Because if yeah, and then once they attain that, that liberation,
mm.
they are going back to source, which is not the material body, but that spark, that's the moksha, isn't it? To me, that is the logic of it. That's otherwise it doesn't make sense.
No, well, the definition I gave you is that moksha is when you get free from this process of reincarnation, of changing from one body to the next, and you're just back in your original spiritual form without any more coverings.
But if we, you know, if we, like, as I boil it all down, if it finally, it's only Krishna. Krishna is everything. Yes, he's expanded in 50 million whatever ways,
Yeah.
but it's all him and only him. There's nothing else.
True.
So
True.
yeah, so we can't still be all individual things. We are still all him.
No, still we remain individual. And then Krishna
I
wants
don't
it like
know.
that. Why did Krishna create all this variety? Because he enjoys that. It's
Yes.
boring if there's just one lump soup,
No,
like
I
an
know,
ocean
but I
soup or
mean, we
whatever like
can
that.
have all the little drops of water everywhere, but still, it's still that one water, H2O, and that's
No,
it.
but like in the spiritual world, there is Radharani. She is a person, and Krishna is a person. There is Mother Yashoda, there is Nanda Maharaj, there is, there is Arjuna, there is, all these eternal devotees, and they're eternally individual, and they eternally have a loving relationship with Krishna. And they're chasing after cows and dancing in the nighttime and stealing butter and yogurt and feeding it to the monkeys, and all these things are
No, I
going on
know, but
eternally.
yeah. So
So
then
there's
it
variety
means
there.
it's not only Krishna, not at the end of the day, it's not just him. There's all these multiple souls all over the place, which are all making up the whole, yeah, it's somehow, yeah, contradicting, it feels like. It's like,
Yeah, because with our mind is limited, and what we're trying to understand is something unlimited. So we're going to run into some stumbling blocks here. So that's okay. And that's why the word achincha is used, inconceivable. So inconceivable achincha means you're not going to be able to conceive of it all completely. And yeah, we try, but it'll reach a certain point and then it doesn't function anymore, our mind. And
yeah, but yeah, because if we are all still individual and separate, to me, then I fail to see then what is the whole goal about moksha. It's just, I mean, okay, fine, we're not in the
well, you're
material.
reunited with Krishna directly. Now it's indirectly, we're seeing Krishna's energies, the sun and the moon and the fire and everything. But there it's like you see Krishna face to face. Like I said, you just embrace each other and everyone's crying, and if Krishna fell down unconscious, he's so happy to see his devotee, and just so many loving exchanges. There it's in your moksha, mukti state, you're directly having a face-to-face, one-on-one relationship with Krishna at every moment. That's the difference. In your
But
original
then
form,
yeah,
Krishna's there in his original form. You're there in your original form, and you're having this such harmonious, ecstatic, blissful relationship all the time.
but how then? What does it mean when you say that at the, it is at the end of the day, it's only, I mean, there's only Krishna. It's that he is everything that is around it's, but and then yet there is all, yeah, so it's like kind of
Yeah,
like a bit,
Krishna has expanded himself into all of us, right? His first expansion is Balaram, and then Balaram expands into this one, and then Radharani expands. He expands into Radharani. Radharani expands into Lakshmi, and so it's all Krishna. But at the same time, he's given us all free choice.
to go back to him, to choose whether we want to go back to him or not.
So then, in that sense, we're not just, robots of Krishna, are we? because we have individuality and free choice. I can choose to serve Krishna or not.
Yeah, but that's
But even
that
if
whole.
even if I don't want to serve Krishna, I'm serving Maya, and Maya is also Krishna's energy. So I still haven't gone outside of Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole world is Krishna's energy, so I haven't really escaped to serve Krishna because I'm serving his external energy. But the problem is by my trying to turn away from Krishna
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy separately, then but I'm not happy. That we're not happy having turned away from our relationship with God. But God is here everywhere around us, but when
That's
we're
correct.
thinking he's not. And that's the Maya. That's the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
We think there's something that's not God, but that's illusion. That's what Maya means. Maya is the idea that we're thinking there's something other than God. But that's Maya, that's illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, like we're reading here, the earth is God's energy, the water, the fire, the sky, everything, the soul, like that. So, but we want to get back to the truth, which is that, everything is connected with God. And everything reminds us of God, and everything makes us love God more. And at the same time, we do have our individuality. And even if you look at this, it's amazing if you think about it, that Krishna's very first expansion to enjoy variety is Balaram.
Mm-hmm.
So Balaram is nothing other than Krishna, except Krishna's blue and Balaram's white. But Balaram is nothing other than Krishna. And yet Balaram is a different person. He's not the same as Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
He's his own unique person. And even when Krishna and Balaram came here 5,000 years ago, sometimes they had a different view on things, a different opinion. So that's what we've got to reconcile, is that the unity is there, oneness, but also diversity is there.
Mm.
And we've got to reconcile means how you can have both things can be there at the same time. That you can have unity, everything's connected, but at the same time, everything's different, diversity.
Mm.
So that's our
Mm.
philosophy. Yes, there is unity. It's all ultimately Krishna and Krishna's energy, but there's also diversity there. There is variety there. And you can't take away that variety.
Mm.
But
Mm.
everything's united, everything's connected, but at the same time, there's variety there. And that's what our minds have a hard time to understand that. But yeah, Krishna wants it like that. Otherwise, it's a boring existence for him. As like Prabhupada gave the example, does a king have any meaning without subjects?
Mm-mm.
If you say the king is alone, well, what kind of king is that? There's not a king. King is so, Krishna's God, but he needs, living entities to control, to have loving exchanges with, to, whatever like that, to enjoy like that. So, but all the variety's coming from him. There's no one's questioning that. But at the
Mm.
same time, we all have our very unique individuality, and no two souls are exactly alike.
Mm.
And we're not talking about physically. Even physically, no, no. I mean, even isn't it? Even you have identical twins,
There's still
but they have different
difference.
personalities, isn't it? So even though physically the same, but their mannerisms and behavior and everything is different. So, and that is eternally like that, that we have a unique individuality, but all having come developed as expansions from the one source, from Krishna. But we all have, manifested in a very unique way. And Krishna wants it like that. He enjoys it like that. What he doesn't want is a boring existence where it's all is one and all nothing is there and something like that. One big ocean, one big soup, and there's no variety. That's like the last thing that Krishna wants. Krishna wants, variety. Like this, he created in one part of the universe a gigantic mango tree, and another one
Mm.
has this gigantic jackfruit tree. And then there's this, I mean, even like here, you've seen what we've created around us,
Yeah.
so many different kind of trees. And I enjoy that. I go outside, like today I picked mandarins, oranges, lemons, limes, tamarillos, bananas, all different kinds of things. And I enjoy that. And like Krishna enjoys that too. That's why he created all this variety. And I enjoy offering that variety to Krishna. I put on the plate, a variety of different things. So Krishna likes that variety, and that's why
Mm.
he's expanded himself into that. And even like that mentality reflects in us. Why do we want to have a family? Because, you're creating relationships. Because by ourselves, it's a bit boring,
Mm.
So then
Mhm.
we have, partners and children and parents and nephews and cousins and uncles and
Mm.
aunties and friends and, workmates and, we have so many and pets and, so many different kind of relationships.
Mm.
And the more variety, the better. If you have a plate full of rice, is that very satisfying? No, then you'll add some dal, then you'll put some achar, then you put in a pakora, then you put in chutney, then you put raita, and you have a dessert and you have a drink. And,
The
so the more variety,
variety.
then it's more nicer.
Mm.
So Krishna's like that.
Mm.
So yeah, when nothing other than Krishna, everything is
Mm.
made up of what our ingredients are, is nothing other than Krishna. And yet on
Mm.
the other side, we're all completely unique and individual at the same time.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that is what it is. God, I mean, that is what makes God, because that he can have things which is inconceivable to anyone and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it doesn't, like we're trying
And
to.
and we shouldn't have a problem with that as devotees, because
Mm.
if 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 you can't accept that or believe in that, just because we can't understand these things,
Mm. Mm.
then we're not going to be able to progress in Krishna consciousness, because
Mm.
the fact of the matter is Krishna is unlimitedly powerful and great, and we're so
Mm.
tiny and insignificant, minute. We're never going to completely fathom, how does Krishna do everything like this, or why does
Mm.
he do it, and when does he do it,
If we
and
knew
all these
how,
things. It's
then
beyond
if
us.
we knew how, so we are God as well. But
Exactly.
we.
So that's minimizing Krishna if we could
Mm.
understand him, and that's overly estimating our own self
Mm.
like that. Overestimation of ourself and underestimating Krishna like that. So we
Mm.
accept, a humble devotee accepts, I can't understand everything, why, how the Krishna does everything. And even
Mm.
one simple cobbler, he pointed out one time to Narada Muni that when Narada Muni told him one time that Narayan in Vaikuntha is putting an elephant through the eye of a needle. And then the
Mm.
cobbler said, I completely believe that. And Narada said, how can you believe that? And he said, just like even I look around me, I see so many things that are inconceivable. I can't understand, like this tiny banyan tree seed. Banyan tree seed is very small, but he
But that
said
whole tree is
the
in
whole
that
tree
seed.
is inside the seed. And not only the whole tree is inside the seed, but every tree has millions of seed. So all that information, everything, energy is packed
It's
up inside
coded
that
in.
seed. It's
Yeah.
mind-blowing. It's completely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And that's nothing compared to Krishna himself, what powers are there, so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's us trying to, we think we are cleverer than God and we're trying to make sense of it and it ain't happening.
What devotees do, we just love talking about God. Even though we might not
Yeah.
fully comprehend everything, we don't care about that. But devotees enjoy talking about God. And that's one of the 9 processes of bhakti. And we enjoy that. And we enjoy that because Krishna enjoys that we're talking about him. Krishna's
He's-
enjoying
he's-
right now, Deepa, that
He's
we're talking
enjoying
about
that.
him.
I'm baffled by it. Like he's saying,
Yeah,
you
Krishna's
think you're so
laughing that
smart.
we're
Yeah.
so baffled. And Krishna's blessing both of us for trying our best to, understand the philosophy and
Yeah. No,
definitely.
yes. Mm.
Mm.
It's very quiet there today. Like Jayanti is obviously not there, or where is she?
Oh, she had a lot of car issues to deal with today, getting her
It's
car
so
sorted out in Auckland.
obvious. It's so noticeable when she's not there. Like you can sense it.
Peace, the quiet. Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah, she'll be in
very
Auckland for a
quiet.
few weeks for their parents. Yeah.
For a few weeks.
Yeah, for a few
Yeah.
weeks. And her guru Vedavasa Priya Swami is going to be arriving in Auckland in a week's time. So she timed her trip that she would also be there
Be
for when her
there.
guru is going to be there as well.
So the end date is don't know. It's indeterminate at the moment. She doesn't know.
It's like just before the middle of August.
Mm.
Yeah,
Middle
just
of
before the middle of
August.
August.
The middle of
Yeah.
August, not that far away.
Okay.
I might no, because Sukarna is forever telling. I said, I'm not your go-between. You can tell them directly yourself. Because he said, can you please apologize to them that I haven't been and I haven't done and I haven't, or that he
Why?
hasn't
He doesn't have to. Yeah.
gone to see, because that time when he came to fetch me from Jayanti's parents' place, and then he connected very quickly and very, with her father, Jayanti's father,
Yep.
and talking and all this, and he's